Okay, and welcome to the video live stream for the WSJM Morning Show for Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. I'm Ken Lundberg. It's 7 o'clock right now, although if you're watching this on the recording, who knows what time it is. But thank you for joining us. Our guest in studio this morning is Danielle Grandholm. She's the director for Rising Kites in Bridgman in Southwest Michigan. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask you to pull that microphone up.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Just pull it closer. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Is that good?
Yes.
Okay. She's the director of Rising Kites. Am I saying your name right, Danielle?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Danielle, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about Rising Kites. We'll talk all about it this hour, but give us the overview.
Yeah, so Rising Kites was started in 2021. We celebrate the gift of Down syndrome. And we started based on our experience with having an unexpected diagnosis at birth of our daughter, Sammy, 5 years ago. She was born in 2020. And yeah, as I said, this was unexpected. We had no indication before she was born that she would be born with Down syndrome. And it really just rocked our world. It changed the entire trajectory of our lives. I tell people we did have to kind of grieve the child that we were expecting. And so in those beginning days, we just felt really alone and isolated walking through her diagnosis. We were met with a lot of unknown health concerns, things like that. And the hospital, she was born here at Lakeland, treated her wonderfully, treated us wonderfully, but we were sent home with just a Google printout saying this is what Down syndrome is. And so we wanted to be sure to offer resources and encouragement and connection to families like ours from the very beginning, whether they receive a diagnosis prenatally or at birth. Just so they know that there's a community surrounding them that will help them walk this journey.
Yeah, yeah, that's a lot to unpack. We're going to talk about many aspects there.
Yes.
But I can't imagine there's a person out there who hasn't heard of Down syndrome, but to actually understand or know what it is, what is it?
So Down syndrome is a genetic condition where there's actually 3 versions of it, where there is a third copy of the 21st chromosome. And so this, every person with Down syndrome, just like you and I, we are people, we are all unique and different. And so the way trisomy 21 presents itself is different in every single person. So there are a lot of similarities for these individuals. They all will present with some sort of cognitive delay. It could be mild, it could be more moderate or severe, but it really just depends on person to person, and they each have their own unique interests and personalities. And so it's just been really sweet to meet so many people with Down syndrome since our daughter's been born and see how they're all unique individuals.
Yeah, we'll talk about this a little bit more during the program, but I'm thinking, okay, you learned this in 2020. There was also this thing happening in 2020 called the pandemic.
Yes.
So it must have been the loneliness or the lack of information, the lack of personal connection with other people about this must have been dark.
That was definitely a huge factor for us. And also she was born with 3 holes in her heart, and we didn't know what COVID looked like for her. And so, we were concerned about keeping her safe and didn't know what that looked like. It was like I said, it was a very isolating time for us.
Wow.
And so,
Okay. Well, thank you for coming in and sharing the story. So we'll start that in just a couple of moments. We've got to get some local news, some weather, some sports, all that kind of fun stuff. It's all coming up right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We're talking with Danielle Grandholm. She is the director of Rising Kites in Bridgman, a fantastic organization, a nonprofit. So we're going to talk all about it here this hour on the WSJM Morning Show. Thanks for joining us.
For approval, see website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit,
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WSJM News now. Team coverage from the WSJM newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
It's the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. Welcome to your Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. It's 7:05 a.m. We've got local news coming up in just a moment. We'll bring you up to speed on all the election results from last night in our area. First off, the weather forecast. Partly sunny skies expected today, a high around 60 degrees. It's going to be breezy. The winds are going to be sometimes out of the southwest, sometimes out of the northwest, 15 to 20 miles per hour throughout the day, gusting up to 35 miles per hour. So again, yes, another windy day. Tonight's forecast, mostly clear. A low going to get down to 34 degrees. We're going to have gusty winds becoming light as the overnight progresses. Thursday's forecast, partly sunny, a high around 56. Decent temperatures, right? Friday's forecast, cloudy skies. It's going to be rainy on Friday, a 70% chance of rain showers, a high around 60 and a low around 45. Then we get to the weekend. So you're going to watch a decline in the temperatures here. Saturday's forecast, partly cloudy, a 40% chance of rain in the afternoon or evening of Saturday. The high is going to be around 50. The low is going to get around 40. Sunday's forecast, mostly cloudy, a 60% chance of rain or maybe even some snow showers. As you go a little bit north, there's a bigger possibility of that. The high is going to be on a Sunday, probably around 40 degrees. The low is going to be around 30. Monday's forecast, mostly cloudy, a 40% chance of lake effect snow on Monday. The high is going to be around 36. The low is going to be around 27. We're going to keep that chance of snow into Tuesday. You like how I dramatically pause after snow? Because it's the first snow of the season. Mostly cloudy skies, a 20% chance of snow, a high around 40, and a low, again, around 27 degrees. We're going to be talking with Danielle Grandholm, a director of Rising Kites in Bridgman. They're a nonprofit that provides resources and encouragement to families new to Down syndrome, that community, as they navigate that unexpected road. So we'll talk with her in just a moment. First, we're going to get some news from the WSJM newsroom. So looking at the elections from last night, the election results from last night, the results are in for the elections that we held last night. Lake Michigan College asked for an operating millage and a capital projects millage. Both millage renewals were approved by voters. In the city of St. Joseph, Lisa Vetney, Michael Fernandez, and Michael Sorolla have been elected to the city commission. There were 6 candidates, 3 open seats there. So those 3 were elected. Vetney and Fernandez, in fact, will serve 4-year terms because they received the most votes. Sorolla will serve a 2-year term. In Benton Harbor, that is, Deidre Fields and Shaquille Turner have been elected city commissioners at large. Benton Harbor City Commission wards 3 and 4 were largely uncontested, and both Juanita Henry and Ethel Clark Griffin were reelected. The bond proposal for St. Joseph Public Schools was approved. Superintendent Kristen Box says the result is a testament to the community's commitment to their public schools. Voters in Eau Claire rejected a school bond proposal. Royalton Township approved a fire equipment millage. Weesaw Township approved a fire truck proposition and a road millage renewal. Niles voters approved a renewal of the dial-a-ride millage, and Niles Charter Township voters effectively approved a ban on marijuana dispensaries. Up in Van Buren County, Annie Brown, re-elected mayor of South Haven, defeating challenger Mary Hosley. For South Haven City Council, Eddie Polk, Thomas Capps, and Dave Flack were elected. In Hartford, Jane Danger has been elected mayor. Also in Van Buren County, a renewal of the Van Buren District Library millage was approved. All results will be certified within the next couple of weeks. The Berrien County, if you want to read that story, if you missed anything there, just go to WSJM.com. The Berrien County Board of Commissioners is working to finalize its 2026 budget with an emphasis on reducing costs. County Administrator Brian Doucette says declining revenue is a key challenge there.
Part of that is no additional federal funds through the ARPA, but also we're adjusting to just new revenue levels, fewer dollars coming in the form of state revenue sharing from the state of Michigan, but then also a reduction in overall county value, and that's due to some of the tax appeals we've dealt with.
Doucette referring there to Cook Nuclear Plant's successful tax reduction appeal, which cut county revenue significantly. He says commissioners want to avoid using reserves next year and instead adopt a balanced budget, which means tightening expenses.
How many positions we have planned for the upcoming year, to what capital projects, what deferred maintenance projects, and then as we look at the overall budget, it's ensuring that we are sharing costs appropriately.
Doucette says that includes some benefit cuts. The board reviewed a revised budget proposal last week and it aims to adopt the final version coming up on November 20th. Other news, there is a South Haven woman who has been charged in a crash involving an Amish buggy that injured 5 people back in August. Authorities say 33-year-old Chelsea Christine Owens faces 5 counts of operating while intoxicated, causing serious injury. The Van Buren County Sheriff's Office says 6 people were taken to the hospital after Owens' SUV rear-ended the buggy on County Road 388. It happened on August 8th. 5 people were hurt, including 4 with serious injuries and 1 critically. Deputies say Owens remained at the scene and cooperated with investigators. And finally, South Haven city leaders are stepping up efforts to encourage new housing development in their area. Assistant City Manager Michael Landis told the City Council this week that multiple projects are moving forward and that collaboration will be key.
City staff are collaborating with local property owners and strategically identifying parcels to promote prime opportunities for housing development. That may mean water and sewer hookups. That may mean proper zoning. That may mean areas that we can offer other incentives to develop.
Landis said ongoing projects include Sunset Grove Senior Apartments, Soha Drift Lots, and Lighthouse Ridge Apartments, all at various stages. He noted the Overton property project will include some duplexes.
The proposed development is a multi-family apartment complex that'll have approximately 53 units, and these units will service residents who are 30 to 80% the area median income.
The city is working with Dwelling Place of Grand Rapids to seek state funding for that site. Other efforts include the Center Street Hales redevelopment project and a $400,000 community development block grant program to help low-income homeowners with house repairs. Applications are expected to open in the spring. That's a look at some of the local news that we're covering in the WSJM newsroom. We have more to talk about and cover. We'll get sports from Dave Wolf in just a moment and a few messages as well. But first off, I'd like to introduce our guest for this hour. Our special guest is Danielle Grandholm. She's the director of Rising Kites in Bridgman. You're a nonprofit that provides hospitals, birthing centers, and prenatal clinics with bags of resources and families with encouragement that can help them on their new and unexpected road, a journey down with Down syndrome. So good morning and welcome to the WSJM Morning Show.
Thank you.
How are you?
Good.
Are you a morning person?
I kind of have to be with 2 kids. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, welcome and thanks
Yes,
for joining
thank
us here. Tell us a little bit about Rising Kites, and then we'll get into your origin story. But first off, for someone who doesn't know what Rising Kites is, what is it?
So Rising Kites is a nonprofit that celebrates the gift of Down syndrome. And so we provide resources, encouragement, and connection for families within the Down syndrome community, and also provide programming for the disability community at large here locally through Rising Kites Coffee and Rising Kites Flowers, which are
go ahead.
2 small businesses in Bridgman that provide employment opportunities to individuals with disabilities.
Let's give those businesses some plugs. So Rising Kites Coffee and Rising Kites Flowers.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about what those two do.
So Rising Kites Coffee is a small coffee shop in Bridgman, right downtown near the railroad tracks. And we currently employ 13 individuals with disabilities at the coffee shop. So they are there at the point of sale system working that. They are making drinks. They are learning skills on the job that they can hopefully carry on to other businesses if we're able to find them work other places, or they will continue on with us at the coffee shop. We also have partnerships with Blossomland, and they bring classes in to learn job skills on the job there as well. And then Rising Kites Flowers is something we actually just started in the last year. Again, we provide employment opportunities at a flower farm that's located down the street in Baroda. And we sell flowers straight from the shop through the spring, summer, and fall.
Wow.
And then we also do a flower subscription service where we deliver flowers from New Buffalo to St. Joe.
Wow. That's fun.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. For anyone who has to tune somewhere else, do work or whatever, how can people get more information about both of those businesses?
So if they go to risingkitescoffee.org, it will have information about both the coffee shop and the flowers.
Okay. And for Rising Kites in general?
It's risingkites.org.
Okay. All right. Risingkites.org. We're going to be talking with Danielle Grandholm this hour. We'll get her origin story. That's coming up next here on the video live stream. Right now here on the radio, we're going to get sports rather, with Dave Wolf. It's coming up right here on the WSJM Morning Show, 7:15.
The Red Wings were
Okay, we're here on the video live stream. We're talking with Danielle Grandholm. I'm fascinated by everything that you just talked about.
Thank you.
So let's start at the very beginning. Your origin story. Who is Danielle Grandholm? Where do you come from?
Yeah. So I actually grew up in a very small town called North Manchester, Indiana. It's near Warsaw, if anybody knows that area.
Okay.
But I ended up going to Calvin University for speech therapy. And so I was a speech pathologist for over 10 years. In Indianapolis, in Chicago, here in Michigan, and met my husband, who grew up in Sawyer, and we now live in Bridgman and have 2 children. I've got an 8-year-old son named Lewis and a 5-year-old daughter named Sammy.
Okay. How do you spell Lewis?
Louis.
Okay. All right. Oddly enough, my youngest child, I have 3 boys.
Okay.
My youngest is Samuel Lewis Lundberg.
Oh, okay.
But I did Lewis for Meriwether Lewis.
Oh, nice.
Lewis. Yeah.
Nice.
So anyway, just
Yeah.
and his first name's Samuel. So we have stuff in common.
Yes. Yeah. We like the same names.
So tell us a little bit more about, so how did you and your husband meet? Where did you meet?
So my roommate from Calvin introduced us. I was up visiting her. I was living in Indianapolis at the time, and we were introduced, and the rest is history there. Yeah.
Okay. So speech pathology, overview of what that is. How do you help people?
So we help people learn to communicate, and also like if you're a school. So there's a lot of different avenues you can take. You can work in early intervention, which I did. So you're working with kids who have developmental delays. Learn to communicate, learn to understand language. Then I have also worked with stroke patients, so working with AAC devices, or learning to communicate again, talk again, understand language again. And you can also work in schools and help kids who have speech impediments, or also just need help understanding language.
Okay. You said for stroke patients, there was a device there.
Yeah.
What is it?
AAC device.
What is that?
Alternative Augmentative Communication. It is it can be a handheld communication system, like an iPad, where they use that to communicate with people. Or you can do a less techie device, which is just a communication board, which it can be just a board of pictures. Or a picture exchange system where somebody can hand you a picture. This is what I want, that sort of thing. So kids who are autistic generally can use that.
How did you get in? How did you get interested in speech pathology? It's ironic I can't say speech pathology, but
I remember back in high school, I actually took an aptitude test, and that was one profession that I might be good at.
Danielle, good communicator. Go into this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just went and shadowed a couple, and I enjoyed it and fell in love with it. So Calvin has a really great program. They have a stroke clinic on campus, and that was just really a wonderful experience for me.
Are you still actively doing this today?
I'm not. I stopped when
because you have a couple other things going on.
The nonprofit has kind of taken over. Okay. But I enjoyed it a lot. And I definitely think it helped me really care about the disability community.
Were you doing this all the way up into the pandemic?
I was, and beyond.
And beyond.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. It's 7:18. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We've got to get a quick weather check forecast here, and we're going to continue our conversation and talk with Danielle Grandholm about Rising Kites and learn the story behind that. And that's coming up in just a moment. Okay. All right. We'll be right back. It's WSJM.
Recharge your devices. Priced as low as $72.99. Use promo code Kathy for an additional 10% off. Don't panic. Purchase your emergency radio today.
Partly sunny skies today, definitely breezy with some of the wind gusts up over 35 miles per hour. Our high temperatures today around 60 around middle part of the day and then dropping into the mid 50s this afternoon. Tonight we'll have clear skies, we'll drop down to 34. And then for tomorrow, a mix of the sun and clouds, high temperatures right in the mid 50s. We'll be back to chances of rain by Friday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
7:19, it's the WSJM Morning Show. Thank you for joining us, and we'll have more news coming up in just a few moments. We'll get the latest, after a few messages, we'll get the latest financial information from Bloomberg. We'll get our latest world and national news update from ABC. We'll preview the stories that we're going to be talking about from the WSJM newsroom, including a quick recap on the election results from last night. But right now, we're talking with our special guest in the studio, Danielle Grandholm. She is the director of Rising Kites in Bridgman. You might have heard of them. You might think that they're just a coffee shop, but they're not. They're a whole lot more. And we're here to explore what that is right now with Danielle. So tell us a little bit about, okay, there's a moment where you decide, well, let's back up a couple of steps. We were talking about your origin story, and you talk very deliberately about the gift of Down syndrome.
Yes.
Say, what's the phrasing you use again?
Yes, the gift of Down
The
syndrome.
gift of Down syndrome. Why do you phrase it that way?
We believe it's a gift.
Yeah.
My husband and I would adamantly tell you that our life has only improved for the better since having our daughter and being exposed to individuals with Down syndrome. We believe that they will make everyone's lives better who they touch, and we want everyone to know that, even families who are navigating the beginning feelings and emotions of receiving a diagnosis. They may not feel like it's a gift right at the beginning. I don't think we did, but we definitely feel that that is what it is now. And I can tell you that every family that we have been able to deliver one of our Rising Kites bags to would look back and say that as well.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the services and support that Rising Kites provides. But I'm curious about the moment. When did you learn that Sammy had Down syndrome?
Literally when she was born, they brought her over to me and I saw her face and I just knew she just looked different than what I was expecting. And I took her away and we're making some calls and they brought her back again. And I just looked at the nurse and I said, does she have Down syndrome? And the whole room went silent. And the doctor came around and was just like, it does appear she has some markers for it. We're going to have the pediatrician come and speak to you guys. But I knew right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you know about Down syndrome prior to that moment?
So like I said, I was in speech pathology and I had worked with little ones with Down syndrome previously. I think when you don't have like a long-term personal relationship with someone with Down syndrome, it just feels like this thing that's scary. It's a life that, oh, that's too hard for me. It's just something you don't want. And I have come to learn that I was so wrong. It has anyone who has a child with Down syndrome will, I think, just say that, like I said, they're a gift. They change your perspective on what matters. They change, when you have a child, you will do for them whatever it is to love them. And so whether that be Down syndrome or some other diagnosis, some other health thing, you'll do what you need to do for that child. And so I think that's been the case for us.
Yeah. We're talking with Danielle Grandholm. She's the director of Rising Kites. And so then you learned that your daughter, your newborn, Sammy, had Down syndrome. What happened after that?
So like you said, it was COVID. And so we were isolated in the hospital. And actually looking back, I think that was kind of good for us because we couldn't have any visitors. So it was just me and my husband kind of working through that together. And like I said, the nurses, staff, doctors all treated us really wonderfully. One of the doctors came in and I think I was still holding it together. And she just looked at us and said, hey, it's okay to grieve the child that you thought you were going to have. And that I did need to hear that. And so that then just like let off a waterworks, of just like, okay, I can like let that child go and embrace this one. And so they were really wonderful, but again, just sent us home with a Google printout saying this is what Down syndrome is. And so we
How
felt
many pages was that printout?
maybe 2.
Yikes.
Like just not much. Yeah.
Okay.
And so went home, and I feel like we spent the first months of her life just trying to find all of this information for ourselves. Like, okay, how do we go about early intervention? What specialists do we need to see? What are we going to do about insurance? Like, does she qualify for all of these things? And who else do we know that is walking this road? Because we really knew no one. And so just trying to find those connections and making those connections on our own.
Yeah. And so I know there's a lot between that and the starting of Rising Kites, but at what moment did this Rising Kites come into being?
So my husband and I knew we always wanted to start a nonprofit. That's something we knew since before we got married, that was something on our heart. We didn't know what that was, but then as we were, raising Sammy and trying to find all this information on our own and starting to learn other family stories that were in this community, it was just pretty apparent that this was something lacking, that a lot of families felt very alone in those initial moments, whether a doctor just didn't have resources for them or didn't handle that diagnosis well. And so, I would say like in that first year, we started just like thinking, okay, what could we do to help families like ours to make that transition a little easier, a little less lonely? And so we started developing our Rising Kites bag. And so we started right around her 1-year birthday.
Okay. So the Rising Kites bag. So I would imagine you probably had in your mind, as you do today, a 2-page Google printout of here's what to do. Here's what Down syndrome is.
Yes.
And so you decided there should be something more. So is that the Rising Kites bag?
Yes.
So what's in the bag?
So in the bag, we have a folder full of resources for families to turn to. So there's a letter from our family, letting families know, hey, we've been there. Hey, we know what you're going through. We know this might be hard, but your child is something we're celebrating. We also have a resource card where they can scan a QR code and go to their state on our website and find a whole list of resources to help them early intervention, Medicaid, or Down syndrome organizations local to them. So state by state list of all of those resources. And we also have a community card where, again, they can go to their state and find families that are in the Down syndrome community in their state locally and make connections with them. We have items of celebration. We have a children's book that is about a child with Down syndrome. We have a book specific to Down syndrome that just looks at what are some of the health concerns, what are the things that you have to think about and ask yourself, how are you going to tell family members that your child has Down syndrome? How are you going to feel when your child has Down syndrome? And helps you kind of navigate those emotions. We have just little toys and tokens for them, but just something that they can look at right away or they can wait. But no matter what, we want them to know that somebody is there and celebrating with them.
Yeah, you mentioned it sounds like a multi-state resource or different state resource.
Yes.
Where are these bags distributed?
So we have actually distributed them around the world. We've distributed 3,400 bags so far to every state in the United States and over 22 countries now around the world.
That's incredible.
It is.
How did you scale up? How old is this organization?
It is
4 years,
4
right?
years old. Yeah. So if people have social media, we have quite a large following there, and that's where a lot of those connect. Once you get into the Down syndrome community, like you just make connections all over. And so I think that's really how it happened for us.
Yeah. All around the world. So how do you get something around to China or India or something like that?
We just ship it through UPS.
Shipping's expensive.
Yeah,
Come on.
It is.
How do you make the resources available? And I'm talking about fundraising and
yeah. So we have a wonderful donor base that's really helped us immensely. We've also received some very significant grants. We received the Stephen E. Upton Love Your Community grant, and that's really what launched the coffee shop for us. We just were given an amazing gift from the Association of Builders and Contractors of West Michigan. They gifted us $93,000 just last week.
Wow.
So yeah,
great.
we've had amazing support.
Great outpouring of support. We're talking with Danielle Grandholm. She's the director of Rising Kites in Bridgman, and it's a nonprofit that helps people celebrate the gift of Down syndrome by bringing encouragement, resources, and support to those within the Down syndrome community. I got your mission statement.
Thank you. You got it
off of your website. But you also have the coffee shop. You also have the flower service. So we'll talk about those two things here in just a moment on the video live stream. We've got to get to some messages here, some important messages, and then our Bloomberg Financial Minute. Then we'll get our latest world and national news from ABC. You're listening to the WSJM Morning Show. Back with more on the radio and on the video live stream. We're going to continue our conversation right now. All right, still on the video live stream. Rising Kites. Why that name? How did that come about?
So my husband and I had our son Lewis, and then we had a couple of miscarriages and a season of infertility before having our daughter. And we were on a trip out in Maine and found out we were expecting her, and went and celebrated by flying a kite off in the sky. So we have these pictures of us doing this. So then fast forward to when she's born, we were gifted a book titled We'll Paint the Octopus Red, and it's specific to a family that has a baby with Down syndrome unexpectedly. And so I'm looking through, we were gifted this book. I'm looking through our calendar, and I have a calendar that has like pictures on each month. And I get to the month of one of Sammy's appointments. We have to go see a specialist. And there's the picture of us flying this kite on the beach, and it is a red octopus floating through the sky. So it was just to us the symbol of she was known. She knew she had Down syndrome at that point and was being celebrated at that point, whether we knew it or not.
Yeah.
And so for us, Rising Kite is a symbol of celebration. It is a symbol of helping individuals like our daughter soar.
Yeah. You are a source of inspiration.
Thank you.
You ever hear that?
No. Well, sometimes. Yeah.
Where do you get that? Where do you get that energy, that positive, bright approach?
I don't know. Honestly, I feel like our daughter has just really changed us. I feel like she has shown me that we can be grateful in so many situations. And that, like she's a gift. And so I am inspired by her to just keep doing this work.
Yeah. You mentioned that this was an unexpected gift. When do people normally find out that their child might have Down syndrome?
So I feel like it's really 50-50 from our experience. It seems because our bag program, we have two different bags. We have a prenatal bag and we have a postnatal bag for families that find out after a child is born versus before. And I would say it's split. So a lot of families will choose to do prenatal testing before, and they'll find out or have some indication before. But then like a number of families will find out after the child's born.
Yeah. Sorry. Our business development manager, he makes a practice of this every Wednesday. He comes in and he waves until I wave back. So my apologies there.
No, you're good.
People on the live stream probably wonder that too. It's like, why is he waving at his guest? We're talking with Danielle Grandholm, director of Rising Kites. The bags. So how did the idea of the bag distribution go from? Where did you start? I mean, was it a local distribution at first?
Yeah, we took them to the hospital here, and just tried to find hospitals and OBGYN clinics that were willing to accept them and utilize them, because so many facilities just don't have resources available. And so that's how we started. Also, like I said, we have social media following, so people would just find us online and request them through the website. But it's just slowly grown. So we have over 150 medical facilities that request our bags and utilize them. Yeah.
I think that answers my next question, which was were facilities accepting of the resource you were trying to provide?
Yes, absolutely. So many just say they don't know, or they don't have the time, or they just don't have the knowledge of what those resources are. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible for them to be able to do that. There's actually a research study that showed that over the last 20 years, the number of families in the Down syndrome community that were receiving resources has declined, which is just crazy to me. But so we're trying to fill that gap.
Why has that decline happened?
I have no idea if
Wow.
it's just they're expecting families to do it themselves. I don't know, or if the workload just feels too much. I really don't know. But
how
we're
big
trying
is
to help.
the Down syndrome community?
I mean, it feels large when you're in it.
Yeah.
So the number of births of a child with Down syndrome is 1 in 600. I don't know like an actual number
I can
of how
do the
many
math
people.
on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Locally, I mean, is it you have a fairly large community?
I'm starting to learn of more and more families all of the time, especially through the coffee shop. But we're trying to build that community in Berrien County. So there's a Down syndrome organization in Grand Rapids, and there's a Down syndrome organization in South Bend. But I feel like we're kind of in this pocket where there's just not a lot of community for the Down syndrome community here locally. And so we're trying to kind of fill that void here locally.
Okay. Well, let's do that.
Yeah.
That's good. We'll continue talking about this with Danielle Grandholm. She's the director of Rising Kites. They're in Bridgman. It's a nonprofit that provides hospitals, birthing centers, and prenatal clinics with bags of resources and encouragement that can be immediately distributed to families new to the Down syndrome community as they navigate that new and unexpected road. We'll continue the conversation in just a moment. We've got to get some more news in here from ABC and our local newsroom. It's WSJM.
Borrowed funds on fraudulent terms, diverting cash for himself and his family. I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
7:36. It's the WSJM morning show for Wednesday, November 5th. It's the day after Election Day. We'll have election result recap here in just a moment from our local newsroom. Temperature outside right now in Benton Harbor, it's 53 degrees and cloudy, 53 and windy and cloudy in St. Joseph. Same thing in South Haven, Dowagiac, 50 degrees, 51 in Buchanan, and 51 at the South Bend International Airport. We do expect some sunshine to come out eventually today. The high is supposed to be around 60 degrees. In southwest Michigan, the warmest parts. Breezy conditions will continue. Winds are going to sometimes be out of the southwest, sometimes out of the northwest, gusting up to 35 miles per hour. Tonight's forecast, mostly clear and a low of 34. Gusty winds will continue. Thursday's forecast, partly sunny tomorrow, a high of 56. And then Friday, cloudy and a 70% chance of rain showers, the high around 60 and the low around 45. Weekend forecast, partly cloudy on Saturday with a chance of rain in the afternoon and evening, high around 50. Sunday's forecast, that's when we introduce the S word, snow. Mostly cloudy, a 60% chance of rain or snow showers, depending on where you are. The further north you go, the more chance of snow you might have. The high is going to be around 40 degrees and the low is going to be around 30. Monday's forecast, mostly cloudy and a 40% chance of lake effect snow. High is going to be around 36 and the low around 27. It's 7:37 right now. It's the WSJM Morning Show. News from ABC, our local newsroom coming up, and we'll continue our conversation with the director of Rising Kites, Danielle Grandholm, in just a couple of moments.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Democrats winning big in New Jersey and Virginia. Mikey Sherrill and Abigail Spanberger, the country's newest governors. And in New York City, far-left Democrat Zoran Mandami will be the next mayor. In California, voters overwhelmingly said yes to letting state lawmakers redraw congressional maps to give Democrats more seats in the midterms.
A direct response to redistricting in Texas, which favored Republicans. Now, President Trump is reportedly preparing to sign an executive order targeting states like California that predominantly use mail-in ballots.
That's ABC's Lana Moise. President Trump's power to unilaterally impose far-reaching tariffs comes before the U.S. Supreme Court today in a test of executive power and Trump's use of an emergency law to impose the taxes on other countries. One runway has reopened at the Louisville airport, scene of a fiery crash yesterday that left 7 people dead when a UPS cargo plane appeared to have engine trouble and hit a petroleum facility. This is ABC News.
WSJM News now. Team coverage from the WSJM newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
It's the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. 7:38 is the time. Some of the news stories. Let's give you a quick recap of the elections held in Southwest Michigan yesterday. I should say. Lake Michigan College asked for and received approval for both of their millages that they put on the ballot, an operating millage and a capital projects millage. Again, both millages for Lake Michigan College approved. In the city of St. Joseph, Lisa Vetney, Michael Fernandez, and Mike Sorolla all elected to the city commission. Vetney and Fernandez will serve 4-year terms, Sorolla a 2-year term. In Benton Harbor, Deidre Fields and Shaquille Turner elected to city commission at large positions. Benton Harbor City Commission Wards 3 and 4 were largely uncontested. Both Juanita Henry and Ethel Clark Griffin were reelected to their posts. The bond proposal for St. Joseph Public Schools approved. Superintendent Kristen Bach says the result is testament to the community's commitment to their public schools. Voters in Eau Claire rejected their public school bond. Royalton Township approved a fire equipment millage. Weesaw Township approved a fire truck and road millage renewal. Niles voters approved a renewal of the Dial-A-Ride millage, and Niles Charter Township voters effectively approved a ban on marijuana dispensaries. In Van Buren County, Annie Brown has been reelected mayor of South Haven, defeating challenger Mary Hosley. For South Haven City Council, Eddie Polk, Thomas Capps, and Dave Flack were all elected. In Hartford, Jane Danger was elected mayor. Also in Van Buren County, renewal of the Van Buren District Library millage was approved. If you need any more information on those, you can check out the story we have posted on our website at WSJM.com. Other news will bring you the Berrien County Board of Commissioners working to finalize their 2026 budget. Benton Harbor City Commissioners have delayed a decision on a $40,000 project for 2 new splash pads in the area. We'll tell you a little bit more about that. And the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission is seeking input as it develops a new regional materials management plan for Berrien, Cass, and Van Buren counties. It's 7:40. We'll continue our conversation with Danielle Grandholm, Director of Rising Kites, here on the video live stream in just a moment. Right now, we've got to get some sports in and a check of state news from the Michigan News Network.
The Michigan News Network.
Okay, back on the video live stream. 1 minute break. Was that all right?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. And I do want it known that I did offer coffee.
Yes.
Are you a
did.
coffee connoisseur?
I do love coffee. I was
Yeah.
just a little nervous, so I didn't want to get extra jittery before this.
Good point.
Yes.
Good point. No, I love good coffee.
Mhm.
It's tough for me to order coffee in places where I know they don't take pride in their coffee. Tell us a little bit about Rising Kites Coffee Shop.
Yeah.
When did that come about?
So, it was 2024.
Wow, not too long
not
ago.
too long ago. No.
Okay.
So we had applied for we had bought this building in Bridgman, knowing that we had outgrown our basement.
For the nonprofit.
Yeah, for the nonprofit.
Okay.
And we also, it had been a coffee shop before. And so we thought that is a great spot for people like our daughter to learn job skills.
Yeah.
And so we had applied for a grant, the Stephen E. Upton Love Your Community grant, specifically for our bag program. And I had a small little blurb in there about how we would love to start a coffee shop at some point, 5 years, 10 years down the road someday. But they saw that little blurb and said, we will gift you this money, but we want it to go towards the coffee shop and opening that. And so that fast tracked things for us.
Wow.
We have a great connection, friend, Aaron Darling, who is the owner of Infusco. And he helped get us set up. And they actually roast our coffee for us.
Yeah.
So it is good quality coffee. It's from a single farmer in Guatemala. And fun story, the grower actually had an aunt with Down syndrome who raised him. And so we didn't know that when we chose his beans, but it was just another one of those, this was meant to be moments.
Yeah.
And so, we found a wonderful manager who is now our program director, but she really got things off the ground for us at the coffee shop. Like I said, we've been able to employ 13 individuals, I think 15 total. We've actually been able to find one of our employees a full-time job where he's able to work outside of the coffee shop. And so that's been really sweet to kind of find those connections for some of our employees outside of the shop to work, because we actually have a growing wait list for individuals who want to work at the coffee shop. And so if we can find ways to help, launch people into other jobs and find more space for them at the shop, that's what we want to do.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's been really sweet.
So at any point during this journey, have you thought, is this the way I need to go? Second thoughts?
No, honestly, I feel like we have just been shown time and time again, like, do this, do this, do this. And so I actually have never, there are days where it's just like, oh my gosh, this is like, this has just taken on a mind of its own.
Yeah.
But I've never questioned the work that we're doing. Like it feels so needed locally. If you heard the story, I would love to have some of our employees come in and just share their stories, because time and time again, they were turned away from other places because of their disability. And they have just thrived by their parents just talking about how they've changed in a year, and just seeing what they bring to our community and seeing the perspectives that they change within our community as well has been awesome.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask the days and hours of operation for Rising Kites coffee shop, and where is it located?
So we are open 7 days a week. Wednesdays we're open 6:30 to 1, but every other weekday it's 6:30 to 4. And then weekends we are 8 to 4.
Okay.
And we are located in downtown Bridgman, right over the tracks. It's a black building. You kind of can miss it if you're just driving by, but it's right there.
Yeah. So
Right
the
by
dream.
tracks.
So the dream of opening a coffee shop, did it come before or after Sammy?
After.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so were you a coffee connoisseur before that?
Sorry,
I'm going to dive in on coffee here for a minute.
So we liked coffee, but I really knew next to nothing about all the different drinks. Like, what's a cafe miel? I have no idea.
Are you? So you've got the one location. Have you thought about other locations?
We have been asked this a lot.
Yeah.
We are not there, but we're not to say that won't happen, but we really just kind of want to get our own systems in check here before we kind of branch out anywhere else.
What have the biggest challenges been with the coffee shop specifically?
So I think the rate at which we've grown, it's just been so fast. So trying to figure out, okay, how many, because so we have individuals who are staffed with disabilities, but we also need support staff to work alongside them. And so finding those good fits that work alongside our staff has been a challenge. Also going from, we are very much a tourist destination, Southwest Michigan. And so summer is crazy. And so keeping up with that traffic through the summer, but then kind of dying off a bit through the fall and winter. It's just trying to kind of find that balance and working through that.
Okay.
I would say those have been maybe the biggest challenges.
So the new store is opening when? All right. So so you're looking at that. You're going to see what happens, and let us know though.
Yes, I would love.
We'd be interested.
Yeah.
And so you've got a clientele during the non-tourist months. Does it everything seems to still be going okay?
Things are going well. It definitely calms down. You don't get as much of that beach traffic, but we are getting our regulars.
Good.
And so that's been good.
I hear great things about
it. It really is wonderful. So we have a kids play space that families love. We have an outdoor fenced in turfed area that's really fun for kids as well. We are actually expanding. So our building is kind of split into two, and we've always had access to one side, but just recently got access to the other side. And we plan to open up the other side and create more of a quiet workspace, because that is one thing we definitely lack for the people that want to work and come sit on their computers. We want to create a space for them away from the kids area where they can actually get some work done.
That makes sense. All right. We're talking with Danielle Grandholm, director of Rising Kites. More, and we'll get our Moody on the Market update after this.
Tonight we'll have clear skies. We'll drop down to 34. And then for tomorrow, a mix of the sun and clouds, high temperatures right in the mid 50s. We'll be back to chances of rain by Friday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
7:48, it's the WSJM Morning Show. Ken Lundberg here. And our guest this morning is Danielle Grandholm, Director of Rising Kites. Let's make this part of our Moody on the Market update. Our Moody on the Market update is brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today. They are your local auto owners insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. And the Moody on the Market update, we bring you stories of business updates. We bring you stories about life in Southwest Michigan and why we love it here, and interesting people you should know. Danielle Grandholm with Rising Kites meets all three buckets for our Moody on the Market update. So thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any spare time? What do you do in your spare time?
Yeah. So it was flowers, but that has become part of the business now.
Yeah.
So no, I mean, I spend a lot of time with our family at the beach in the summer.
Yeah.
That's like our happy place. So
Nice.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Okay,
Mhm.
beach time.
Yeah.
Talk about the flowers for just a moment. So we were talking on the video live stream about Rising Kites, the nonprofit overall. You distribute resources to hospitals, birthing centers, prenatal clinics, parents of people with Down syndrome as they navigate that new and unexpected road. And that branched into a coffee shop.
Mhm.
And now you've branched into flowers. Talk a
Mhm.
little bit about that again, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah. So we have Rising Kites Flowers, and this all kind of started when I was pregnant with our daughter, Sammy. I had started a flower garden just for my own enjoyment, just something to enjoy for myself.
Yeah.
And funny enough, my son at the time called Sammy Flower while I was still pregnant with her. So
Yeah.
she was Sammy Flower for the longest time. But after she was born, that flower garden became kind of my therapy. I would just go out there and spend time in the flowers with her and work in the garden. And I just fell in love with like the unique beauty of each individual flower and how that just so represents humans and how we are so uniquely individual and beautiful. And so fast forward the next summer, I was like, oh, I could start selling these flowers to help fund our bags.
Yeah.
And so I did. I started just a really small subscription service and was thinking, oh, this would be awesome if we were able to employ people and I was able to work alongside people with disabilities in this. And so, yep, fast forward again, we opened the coffee shop and it's a great place to sell flowers.
Yeah.
And so we were able to employ 4 individuals with disabilities this summer at our flower field, which is in front of my husband's workplace. And then one at the shop who helps us arrange flowers every week. So
Wow.
we would always provide fresh flowers at the shop Thursday through Monday. And then we also do a subscription service where we deliver arranged flowers from New Buffalo up to St. Joe.
Yeah. Do you sell out?
We do. Yes. Yeah. By the end of the summer, we were definitely selling out. People were realizing, oh, these are good, and this is where we can get them.
And it's seasonal.
Yes, it is.
Everything's
seasonal.
locally grown.
Yes. Yep.
You're not sourcing it in from Brazil or anything like that.
No,
Okay.
it is all locally grown and tended by us and our staff. They're Rising Kites. Yeah.
Okay, so proceeds from both the coffee shop and from the flower shop operation, they go to fund the resource bags.
They go to fund the nonprofit. So
Okay.
employment, the bags.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, that's great. And let's give out the website so people know where to get more information on the flowers, the subscriptions for those, the coffee shop, and the nonprofit in general. Where can people go?
So risingkites.org is our main nonprofit website. But then risingkitescoffee.org is where you can get information about coffee and flowers.
Yeah. Is anybody doing anything like this as you've gone and explored and understood who the community is, not only here in Southwest Michigan, but around the world? Is anyone else doing stuff like what you're doing?
They are doing pieces of it. There are coffee shops that employ individuals with disabilities. There are some very small flower farms where they will employ one individual with a disability. I do think there is maybe a larger farm around Chicago area. So we are finding and hearing about them.
Yeah.
But as far as like the all encompassing like resource bag from babies to adults, I have yet to find something that is like this.
Yeah. The organization, basically your journey is about to turn 5 years old with Down syndrome. Where will this be in 5 years from now?
So we do have a goal of employing 50 individuals with disabilities. In I think is that 5 years or 10 years? But I know that.
But you've got
that is
5-year
an end
plan,
goal.
you've got
Yes,
10-year plan. Okay.
And we also another grant that we're waiting to hear on will actually we're really hopeful will allow us to do some market research on what would be a good addition to offer employment opportunities to this population and also provide more jobs because like I said, we have a wait list and we can only employ so many people at the coffee shop at a time. So if we can expand into other projects, we would love to do that.
That's great. Love the inspiration. Love what you bring to this community and to this region as well. So we're talking with Danielle Grandholm, director of Rising Kites, again, starting as a nonprofit that provides hospitals, birthing centers, and prenatal clinics with bags of resources and encouragement that can be immediately distributed to families new to the Down syndrome community and that journey, that unexpected road. We're going to continue this interview on the video live stream and wrap things up here in about 5 minutes. But that's our Moody on the Market update for this hour. It's brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. Back in just a moment.
Rich Brandon, Chair.
Here on the video live stream, we continue talking. Your son's name again is?
Lewis.
What is Lewis up to?
Anything to do with Pokemon. Like that is a huge obsession right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever he's into, he's all in. Yeah.
Does he do the cards and
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cards. He was Pikachu for Halloween,
How has he been on this journey?
Wonderful. He is the perfect big brother to Sammy. Like he is her cheerleader. He's just and he doesn't know any different. He's Sam or she's Sammy to him. So but he's an amazing kid. He's really fun.
Does he help out at the coffee shop or with the flowers and such?
He comes up with all sorts of business endeavors that he would like to sell at the coffee shop.
How many of them have to do with Pokemon?
He is talking about he and a friend last night made a giant Pokemon card and said, "We will give half of it to Rising Kites if you let us sell it there." Like, thank you.
That's great. Well, what were the children for Halloween? Did they?
Like I said, they were both Pokemon.
Okay.
He picked her outfit.
Oh, he did.
Yeah. She doesn't care, so she was happy to do whatever her brother wants to do.
Do you know which character she was or he was?
She was Eevee.
Okay.
And he was Pikachu.
Okay, I have no idea who Eevee is, but I know who Pikachu is. So that's awesome. All right, let me make sure. Sorry if I look distracted. It's because I am. I'm doing commercial things over here. So make sure this all runs smoothly. And we'll be right back. What else should I be asking you that we haven't talked about this morning?
We often get people wondering if they can volunteer with us.
Okay.
And yes, we would love that. Through the summer, we would love to have you join us alongside our staff at the farm. We do have bag building days where we just try to build them in mass so they're ready to go when we get orders. So if you join our newsletter, which you can sign up for on our website, risingkites.org, we put all of our volunteer opportunities in our monthly newsletter that goes out on the 21st every month.
Okay. We'll reinforce that here on the radio in just a moment. Teresa, on one of our frequent viewers on the video live stream, shared, my brother went to Blossomland Learning Center, and in high school, I was able to be a student teacher, and that was through co-op. And my brother had some friends, and I had the pleasure of going through a room with a dozen Down syndrome kids, and the kids are awesome. They hug you. I was so happy. They are so sweet. And then she gave a little heart icon. So thank you for sharing that, Teresa. Appreciate that. And she says, this is incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We will continue this interview. We'll conclude this interview in just a couple of moments. See, did the hour go okay?
It did. It went really fast.
Okay. Danielle came in and said, how long are we going to be here again? Really? The full, really? No, she didn't. We'll be right back.
Studios, this is WSJM FM Benton Harbor, St. Joseph, a product of Midwest Family Marketing and Media. Proudly serving our community. The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
53 degrees in Benton Harbor, 53 in St. Joseph, 50 in Dowagiac, and 51 in Buchanan. Cloudy skies all around. We're supposed to get partly sunny skies today. Not much in the way of precipitation, and but it's going to be breezy. A high of 60 and breezy conditions. Southwest and northwest winds 15 to 20 miles per hour and gusting up to 35. We've been talking this hour with Danielle Grandholm. She's the director of Rising Kites, which, if you've missed any part of this hour's discussion, it's an amazing organization. And did you ever envision in any world when you started this that it would become what it has today?
No, we were going to be excited if we got 10 bags out the door.
Yeah.
So yeah, this has become way more than we ever expected.
How many bags have you distributed so far?
3,400 around the world.
3,400 around the world.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
It is.
What's the call to action? How can people get involved?
So they can sign up to join our newsletter on our website, which is risingkites.org. And I send a newsletter out every 21st of the month. And that will be full of information on how you can support us, how you can volunteer locally, and how you can get bags in facilities if you have medical connections.
Okay.
Mhm.
And for people who might be
Mhm.
experiencing this or know a loved one who's experiencing Down syndrome for the
Mhm.
first time, how can they get additional resources and help
Mhm.
that you provide?
Yeah. So if you go to risingkites.org, there is a button right on the very top of our website that says request a bag, and you can request a bag for the family to receive one, and we will try to get that to them as soon as possible.
Love it. Well, thank you very much for doing what you do. And thank you
you.
for telling your stories
you.
today. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
It's great.
absolutely. Danielle Grandholm, director of Rising Kites. And if you missed any part of this interview, or if you want to share it on social media with others who might benefit, please do. We've got the video live stream available right now on our website, WSJM.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. A bold